Did you know that your regular cup of coffee may be doing more than just providing you with your early morning pick-me-up? The question of whether or not taking coffee has any meaningful benefits is without a doubt a very controversial one. This age-old debate has seen advocates mentioning its antioxidant activity as well as brain-boosting potential. On the other hand, detractors have been touting downsides like indigestion, increased heart rate, high blood pressure, and insomnia. However, the latest wave of medical and scientific evidence comes with a wealth of awesome news for coffee diehards. Drinking coffee can stand to be healthier for you than you ever knew. And here are some of the top reasons why we think so. Number 1, lower risk of type 2 diabetes. Some research suggests that consuming coffee regularly could be associated with a decreased risk of developing type 2 diabetes over the long term. In fact, one review of 30 studies found that each cup of coffee people consumed per day was linked to a 6% lower risk of developing type 2 diabetes. This is thought to be due to coffee's ability to preserve the function of the beta cells in your pancreas, which are responsible for producing insulin to regulate blood sugar levels. Plus, it's rich in antioxidants and may affect insulin sensitivity, inflammation, and metabolism, all of which are involved in the development of type 2 diabetes. Regular coffee consumption may be linked to a lower risk of developing type 2 diabetes over the long term. Number 2, support brain health. Although studies have turned up mixed results, some research suggests that coffee may help protect against certain neurodegenerative disorders, including Alzheimer's disease and Parkinson's disease. According to one review of 13 studies, people who regularly consumed caffeine had a significantly lower risk of developing Parkinson's disease. What's more, caffeine consumption also slowed the progression of Parkinson's disease over time. Another review of 11 observational studies in more than 29,000 people also found that the more coffee people consumed, the lower their risk of Alzheimer's disease. Additionally, several studies have demonstrated that moderate coffee consumption could be associated with a lower risk of dementia and cognitive decline. Some research suggests that drinking coffee could help protect against Alzheimer's disease, Parkinson's disease, and cognitive decline. Number 3, may promote weight management. According to some research, coffee could alter fat storage and support gut health, both of which may be beneficial for weight management. For example, one review of 12 studies concluded that higher coffee consumption could be associated with decreased body fat, especially in men. In another study, increased coffee intake was linked to decreased body fat in women. Furthermore, one study found that people who drank 1 to 2 cups of coffee per day were 17% more likely to meet recommended physical activity levels, compared with those who drank less than 1 cup per day. Higher levels of physical activity could help promote weight management. Coffee could help support weight management and may be linked to decreased body fat. One study also found that people who consumed coffee were more likely to be physically active. Number 4, protect against liver disease. Interestingly, several studies suggest that coffee could support liver health and protect against disease. For instance, one study found that drinking more than 2 cups of coffee per day was linked to lower rates of liver scarring and liver cancer in people with liver disease. Other research shows that the more coffee people drank, the lower their risk of death from chronic liver disease. Drinking 1 cup of coffee per day was tied to a 15% lower risk, while drinking 4 cups per day was linked to a 71% lower risk. Another recent study found that coffee consumption was associated with decreased liver stiffness, which is a measure healthcare professionals use to assess fibrosis, the formation of scar tissue in the liver. Coffee consumption could be linked to a decreased risk of death from chronic liver disease, along with other conditions like liver scarring and liver cancer. Number 5, supports heart health. Some research shows that drinking coffee may benefit heart health. In fact, one review found that drinking 3 to 5 cups of coffee per day was tied to a 15% reduced risk of heart disease. Another review of 21 studies showed that drinking 3 to 4 cups of coffee daily was associated with a 21% lower risk of stroke. What's more, one study in more than 21,000 people also found that increased coffee intake was associated with a significantly decreased risk of heart failure. However, keep in mind that caffeine could affect blood pressure levels. Therefore, People with unmanaged blood pressure may need to limit or moderate their caffeine intake. Some research shows that drinking coffee could be linked to a lower risk of heart disease, stroke, and heart failure. Number 6 may help curb certain cancers. Men who drink coffee may be at a lower risk of developing aggressive prostate cancer. In addition, new research from the Harvard School of Public Health suggests that drinking 4 or more cups of coffee daily decreased the risk of endometrial cancer in women by 25%, as compared to women who drank less than 1 cup a day. Researchers have also found ties between regular coffee drinking and lower rates of liver, colon, breast, and rectal cancers. Polyphenols, antioxidant phytochemicals found in coffee, have demonstrated anti-carcinogenic properties in several studies and are thought to help reduce the inflammation that could be responsible for some tumors. Number 7, enhance exercise performance. We've been conditioned to believe that caffeine is dehydrating, one of the primary reasons why fitness experts recommend mixing coffee pre- and post-workout. However, recent research suggests that moderate caffeine consumption, up to about 500 milligrams, or about 5 cups per day, doesn't dehydrate exercisers enough to interfere with their workout. In addition, coffee helps battle fatigue, enabling you to exercise longer. Caffeine is a performance and endurance enhancer. Not only does it fight fatigue, but it also strengthens muscle contraction, reduces the exerciser's perception of pain, and increases fatty acids in the blood, which supports endurance. Number 8, guards against gout. Independent studies on the coffee consumption patterns of men and women suggest that drinking coffee regularly reduces the risk of developing gout. Researchers in the Nurses' Health Study analyzed the health habits of nearly 90,000 female nurses over a period of 26 years and found a positive correlation between long-term coffee consumption and a decreased risk for gout. The benefit was associated with both regular and decaf consumption. Women who drank more than 4 cups of regular coffee daily had a 57% decreased risk of gout. Gout risk decreased 22% in women who drank between 1 and 3 cups daily, and 1 cup of decaf per day was associated with a 23% reduced risk of gout when compared to the women who didn't drink coffee at all. Similar findings have been documented for men. Another large-scale study, published in the journal Arthritis and Rheumatism, found that men who drank 4 to 5 cups of coffee per day decreased their risk of gout by 40%, and that those who consumed 6 cups or more lowered gout risk by 60%. According to the Nurses' Health Study, coffee's antioxidant properties may decrease the risk of gout by decreasing insulin, which in turn lowers uric acid levels. High concentrations of uric acid can cause gout. Number 9, increase longevity. Some research suggests that coffee could help extend longevity thanks to its multitude of potential health benefits. For example, one review of 40 studies concluded that drinking 2 to 4 cups of coffee daily was associated with a lower risk of death, regardless of factors like age, weight status, and alcohol consumption. Similarly, another study in 1,567 people found that drinking caffeinated coffee was linked to a lower risk of death after 12 and 18 years of follow-up. Furthermore, drinking at least 1 cup of coffee per day was also associated with a lower risk of death from cancer. Interestingly, one test tube study showed that coffee was able to significantly extend the lifespan of yeast by protecting against free radicals and DNA damage. However, more research is needed to determine whether this could also apply to humans. Coffee could be associated with a lower risk of death, regardless of other factors like age, weight status, or alcohol consumption. Still, more research is needed.